Can you see me? No one here yet, huh? I'll be back. Felix, what up? Trying to get this right, man. Lighting ain't right. Hold on. Still too much. Okay. Trying to work the lighting out, people. Work with me. Hold on. Can you see me now? Sorry about that. Working on it. Trying to get y'all to be able to see the background, but you can't see the background. Can anybody see the background? Can you see the city lights, the city behind me? Can you hear me? You're too near me not to hear me. Hi. Felix, you still with me? I appreciate you. Yeah, it looks cool, but can't see the background. Yeah, I'm working on it. I mean, we're going to get it together eventually. uh, but yeah, you know what I'm saying? It's, man, look, I moved in. I'm saying, at the new house, trying to get situated and settled and get my little area set up to do my thing. The plane ain't too loud. Is it? The plane going over. Can you hear it? Let me know if you're there. Well, I know the wife is watching. Are you watching? Not too loud. Okay. Thank you. Thank you. If somebody said something, I don't know where the wife at. She must be over taking a nap. Yeah, she usually watching me, making fun of me, laughing at me, pointing and giggling. Look at what he doing now. Still going though. Still going. Nah, it's Juneteenth, but it's Friday, so the wife worked today, I worked today, and it was a long day for me, so the wife, she wasn't up for, going out running around. So we go do we got a little couple little functions to go to tomorrow, you know, pop in and say what's cracking. So what's up, wifey? You there? Are you listening? Are you awake? Can you hear me now? If you can hear me, I'm thirsty. Nah, you know what I'm saying? It's been a good week. No complaints, no complaints. Still working on getting the house together, you know what I'm saying? Got a little yard now. So I've been working, out here trying to get some stuff, tightened up. Actually, me and the wife been doing some gardening. So we, put a couple plants in, plan on doing a little bit more and trying to get a jungle out here. So, me, I'm trying to, knock down knock down that grocery bill. If I could knock down that grocery bill with, going out in the backyard and eating out of the backyard, that's gonna save me a little something, something. You know what I mean? You know, at the same time, it gets hard on the yard. I'll still have something to eat. So I'm just trying to stay ready, so I ain't got to get ready. That's kind of like a way of life for me. Where do I like it? Yeah. Oh yeah, all right. I'm still working on this thing. Still working on it. But yeah, you know what I'm saying. Life's been going on. Everybody getting older. But it's summertime now, so it's a lot of stuff. It's a lot of stuff going on. People that don't know, I'm gonna be going live on I believe it's Sundays. I'm not sure. Saturdays or Sundays. We got a softball league, Fat Camp, so you can get a live view of Fat Camp from Standing Tall with Snowroc. So stay tuned. Coming soon. What do I mean? Coming soon. That'll be in what? I think the beginning of July. The end of July is the kickoff, and July is when the game is gonna be played. So weekends of July, I'm gonna be softballed out. But it's cool because I got three generations of women playing, softball this year. Hopefully, so hopefully all goes well. Uh, looking forward to it. Hopefully, I'm saying, I'm gonna be in the outfield taking care of the grandbaby. Grandpa Joey, I'm saying, got work. And I'm saying, that's the best job I ever had. If I could, I'm saying, live with just doing that job, I'd be set. Nah, I'm saying, life's been good, man. Working, working, working. But looking forward to the good time. I'm gonna go fishing one of these days. I ain't had the opportunities as of late. Because priorities, and I got to take care of this and I got to take care of that. But I'm saying, soon, hopefully, I'm saying, I'm gonna get out. I'm saying, don't catch me something. I don't know what, but I'm gonna catch me something. That's the thing. I don't want to go to the ocean. I want to go. I want to go to freshwater lake, sit on the bank in a chair with my feet up, half sleep, with a string on my finger or a bell on my pole to wake me up when I catch the fish. I'm a bait and wait guy. So, I'm saying? I want to get out there, set the pole, and just kick back and relax. You know what I mean? You ain't got to do nothing but let the bait do the work. And that's the best part of fishing for me is the relaxation, the getting away, the out in the nature. You know what I'm saying? No cell phone reception. Out, and it's hard to find that nowadays. It's not a lot of places you can go where there's no cell phone. Wi-Fi is everywhere. But that's the thing. The kind of that's what I do. That's what my company does. We build the 5G networks. We're putting up the antennas. We're putting the fiber in the ground. We're putting the fiber on the poles. We're building the antennas. We're, I'm saying, splicing in the hubs. We're, I'm saying, we build a whole network. So the company is blowing up. I mean, it's getting bigger and bigger. The company keeps, I'm saying, doing other stuff, and I'm just thankful to be a part of. I feel like I'm a part of people being connected to the internet because I'm saying we do fiber optics, and I've been doing this in January. I get my 15-year watch, so the company's giving me a 15-year watch in January, and that's cool because I love this company. Because they HP saved Joey's life. Because if it wouldn't have been, there you go. That's the life, Snow. That is peaceful. Man, that's what I'm talking about. Getting out in the way. But that's the thing. I can't do it all the time. You know what I'm saying? I need to get back to walking. I haven't been doing my little exercises. Usually me and the wife, out walking around. So, what I mean? I know she gonna hear this. And the only reason I'm bringing it up because she got it in my head. You know what I mean? She the one that reminded me that we haven't been doing our walks. And usually we kind of regular with, what I'm saying, and we haven't been doing it because we've been moving and trying to unpack or trying to pack. And it's just been a whole lot going on. So hopefully we can get that back up in there, walk around a new neighborhood, see, what I'm saying, see what we can see. There's a lot of hills. Yeah, them had them calves and thighs on fire. But me, can't stop, won't stop. I ain't got a problem with it. I'm gonna get out there. What I'm saying, get it like it's the thing to do. But that's the thing. I've been, what I'm saying, trying to figure out where. What I'm saying, I want to go somewhere where me and the wifey can go get us a good little hike in. We got an old favorite spot, so we might have to hit that one up. Gotta live, man. You gotta get out. You gotta do things. You know what I'm saying? Now I'm usually, I'm saying, I'm grinding. So, I'm saying, I'm trying to get something done. I'm trying to accomplish some things. And I mean, it's always life, I'm saying, situations that get in the way. And, sometimes you just gotta deal with it, I'm saying, because that's part of the plan. That's part of the journey. Don't look at it as now I can't move forward. Nah, what I'm saying, because you can never stop moving forward. That's, what I'm saying, forward progress is, what I'm saying, that's the only way I go. What I'm saying, I don't like going backwards. My past is fucked up. I don't want to go back there. So, I'm saying, I'm all about moving forward. And that's the thing, it's not hard. All you have to do is just ride the rough parts out and it's going to get better. How do I know? Because, what I'm saying, I've been in some really rough parts. and they got better. And here I am, you know what I'm saying, right now, you know what I'm saying? Look, this is the best life I've ever lived. This is by far the best I've ever done, best I've ever been doing. Look, I got a view of the city. You know what I mean? You know, man, look, I have more than I need. You know what I'm saying? You know, I'm blessed by the best, praying for the rest. But you know what I mean, you know, I keep trying to push, you know what I mean, you know, to not stop, not get content, you know, when, oh, okay, you know what I'm saying, you know, life is okay right now. You know what I'm saying? You know, I'm comfortable, I got my basic necessities met. You know what I'm saying? You know, I got family, I got loved ones around, I got, you know what I'm saying, you know, a bunch of, you know what I'm saying, you know, worldly items, but you know what I mean? What does that matter? I can't take none of this stuff with me. I'm trying to create something to leave behind for generations to have something, you know, that generational wealth. So it's, you know, I can't stop grinding now. You know, if you know, you know. Uh, I'm not a Trump, so so I can't. You know what I'm saying? You know, hey, I got to give it. You know what I'm saying? You know, the boys big pimping, and you know what I'm saying. You know, everybody that ate it up. You know, hey, people try to tell them. You know what I'm saying? You know, a comment is a comment. You know what I'm saying? How you gonna change leopard stripes or spots? Just not the way it goes. But now you got it. Now look what you get. This is what you voted for. Hmm. I remember back when Biden was president, I didn't like Biden's punk ass, but they had pictures of Biden pointing at the gas pump price, little stickers that they stick on the gas pump, talking about I did this. Yeah, where them stickers at for Trump? Where them stickers at for Trump? Yeah, where's the MAGA at? Yeah, this is crazy. Gas prices is gonna keep going. You know, when is World War III gonna start? I'm, you know what I'm saying, worried about, you know what I'm saying, martial law and the new world order, and you know what I'm saying, you know, what we gonna do, people? You know me, I'm ready. I want to hide. I'm gonna dig a hole and hide in the hole. You know, I don't know. I know they coming for me first. I ain't tripping. Yeah, you gotta get the hard heads out the way. So I'm expecting you. Come and get me. Nah, you know what I'm saying? You know, life has been, you know what I'm saying, you know, life has been going. And you know what I'm saying, you know, me, I see, you know what I'm saying, there's a silver lining in every cloud. No matter what. You know how big the cloud, how, you know what I'm saying, ugly, how, you know what I'm saying, much rain is dumping. There's always some kind of silver lining. It don't matter. You might not see it. You don't need to see it. All you need to do is trust and believe. Man, look, you know what I'm saying? Since I've been, look, I don't, you know what I'm saying, squabble about, you know what I'm saying, you know, God and who he is or what he is or how he is or none of that. You know what I mean? Because I don't know. I don't know. So what am I going to do? Go by what they tell me? Go by what the book says? Nah. I'm going to just trust and believe that there's a higher power that has more power than I have, and you know what I'm saying, you know, wants me to do my best and is there for me when I need him. So, you know what I'm saying, you know, when it gets crunch time, he's always been there. Now, man, you look, I go back to what is the DMX song? The DMX song called The Convo. The song It's Dark and Hell is Hot, but it's the convo. And he say, you say that there's love here. What's with all the blood here? Dealing with Satan. Thou shalt not steal, but I will to eat. I tried doing good, but good's not too good for me. It's understood why you chose the hood for me. Means I'm alright. I just had to work hard at it. Went to grandma for answers. She told me that God had it. Now here I am, confused and full of questions. Am I born to lose, or is this just a lesson? Then the voice comes in. My child, I watch you grow up and I've been there. Even at the times you least suspected it, I was there. And look at what I've given you, a talent to rhyme. I might not come when you call, but I'm always on time. Somebody's knocking. Should I let them in? So anyway, you know what I'm saying, the song goes on, and basically the song is about the story from the Bible, the footprints in the sand. And that's, you know what I'm saying, that's another thing. If you go and check, there's a video by Big June. He's a blood. But I was in the video. You know what I mean? He's a good dude. Uh, Go check it out. It's called Footprints. And you know what I'm saying, I'm in the video. Go check out the video. Let me know what you think. But you know what I'm saying, yeah, you know what I'm saying, I've been out here. I've been out here working and doing what I'm supposed to do, and my goal is to be the best me I can be every day. You know what I'm saying? I'm not trying to be better than nobody else. I'm just trying to be better than I was the day before. And most of the time that's not that hard, but it's getting harder, because I've been being pretty good. Um, that's my opinion. I don't. I think I'm doing all right. And for the people that know me, I'm saying, I got family members that tell me they're proud of me, and I'm grateful to have that. You know what I mean? People that encourage me to continue to stay on the positive and do, I'm saying, the things that I'm doing, I'm saying, and see what life brings my way, because it keeps getting better. For me, it keeps getting better. Like I say, this is the longest I've been out of a cage since I was 9 years old. This is, this is the best life I've ever lived. This is, I'm saying, the best I've ever been doing. This is the most I've ever had. I ain't rich. Shoot, in my bank account. Every time I get paid, I'm saying, I be mad. Uncle Sam be raping me, I'm saying? Then I got to pay bills. You know what I mean? As soon as I get my check, I'm saying? I'm like mad because it's gone. But all my bills is paid. I'm good. I can handle that. I got a roof over my head. I got a yard, I'm saying, to do YouTube in. Thanks for watching. I appreciate you. But, I'm saying, that's the thing. We got fireworks. Somebody firing something off. But, yeah, I'm saying, that's the thing, I like I said, I'm saying, the little things that people take for granted, I don't. I'm still so, I'm saying, I'm outside. I'm saying, ain't no, can't nobody see me but y'all, except in the house. So, I got a nice little spot. I'm on top of a hill, top of the world, man, top of the world. No complaints. Thankful, grateful, blessed. You know what I mean? Thankful to be here. Thankful to have, I'm saying, the things that I have. Duca, G-Day, Big Snow. What's up, brother? How you been doing? How's it down under? What time is it down there? Because I think, I'm saying, last time you told me, I'm saying, I'm not sure the time difference, but I think you said it was like 2 in the morning or something. Time is it down under, Duca? And thanks for tapping in, brother. I appreciate you. Man, life has been lifing. I got plans. I want to, I'm saying, get away, get some fishing in, but I ain't had no time. 2:35 p.m. Saturday. Damn it, that's right, y'all ahead of us. Man, good day. Glad you tapping in, brother. You know what I'm saying? So what's been going on with you? What you got going on down under? Talk to me, because I ain't got much going on up here. In the future. Yeah, you in the future. I'm trying to catch up. Man. Nah, because it's 9:35, 9:36 down here. So what's that? 9:32. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Damn, that's like That's the future, brother. So what's up down under, Duka? What y'all got going on down there? How is the world down there? Because I know our shit is fucked up over here. I'm allowed to get my license back. Hey, that's a good thing. That's a good thing. I'm, what I'm saying, thinking about getting my Class A license back to drive the big rigs again. I had it, and then, what I'm saying, I may have had a seizure, so, what I'm saying, I got on some medicine, and they took my Class A, so I just really, I wanted to get it checked out because, my mother was epileptic, so she had seizures when I was a kid growing up, and I was used to seeing that, and I didn't know if it was hereditary or if I was going to start having seizures or what was going on. And whatever it was, it scared the crap out of my wife. And, that ain't a good thing. So I trust her, and what I'm saying, whatever she said happened, that happened. I don't, what I'm saying, I don't remember none of it. For me, it was just like I closed my eyes, and then I was in a drive-through, and I got my foot on the brake, car and gear, everything, and it was hot, and that's all I remember. And it was hot, and then I closed my eyes, and then I'm like, it's three cars in front of me. I just ordered our food from the box, and what I'm saying, then when I open my eyes again, my wife is going crazy in the passenger seat next to me. The three cars that were in front of me are now gone. What I'm saying, I'm sitting here looking at the lady that was talking to me on the microphone. She is literally standing next to the car now. She's come out of the Del Taco and came all the way down three cars to where I was parked at, and I'm just sitting there locked up, and I didn't know nothing. So it was a scary situation, and what I'm saying, I wanted to get checked. So because I got checked, because I said something, and if you say something, then they have to, take your license. So they took my license. I'm saying, I got my regular license, so I'm still good. But the Class A is a little raise, so I might have to get that just to get a few dollars. Trying to get into disability work. Got to get my charges overlooked so I can just hold assault charge against police. Yeah, I know that shit follows you. You know what I'm saying? I found out the hard way that no matter what I do, I thought, I'm saying, I got out and I did 3 years of high risk parole, and I gave them the number back, and I was off all paperwork. I'm legit. And in 2 more years, and I'm a tax-paying citizen. I got a job the whole time. I went through the drug program voluntarily because I knew I needed a place to get on my feet, to build a foundation so that I could build a life on. I got out and I wanted something different, so I started doing something different. Different shit started happening. You know what I'm saying? Life kept getting better. You know what I mean? At first I was so scared because so much good stuff was happening. I just knew something bad is an avalanche of bad shit is about to fall onto me. I don't, man, look, I was so scared because so much good had happened, and every time something else happened that was good, it was just, oh man, this is more. You know what I'm saying? Because I believe what goes around comes around, and you know what I'm saying, and I thought, what I'm saying, all this mountain shit is about to land on me and just crush me. I don't want to go. But it never came. You know what I mean? And right now, what I'm saying, like I say, this is the best I've ever been doing. I have more than I've ever had. This is, what I'm saying, I'm a man. You know what I mean? I'm a man of the house. I'm, what I'm saying, the man of this family. I'm, what I'm saying, taking care of my responsibilities, and thankful to have responsibilities and have someone to take care of. Some people don't have nothing. I've been there. I've been there. I lost everything several times to the point of, I'm saying, no family, nobody wanted me. I'm saying, on the streets. That gets old. You know what I mean? And I wanted more. I wanted a family. I wanted a group. I wanted, I'm saying, something different. How's the grandkid? Man, hey, that's the best part of my day. She's not here every day, my daughter works, and but she's over here, whenever she can. I was just, just the other day, I had her, got to feed her and make her giggle, make her make some funny noises. I just be wondering what she be thinking about, because it's like you see him, she finished her bottle and she was sitting there just flipping it around, playing with it. She's always in a good mood. My grandbaby's the best baby ever. But she's just sitting there flipping the bottle around, and I'm just like, what is she thinking about? Because she's making noises and talking and not talking, but verbalizing. She's and what is she thinking? What's going through her mind? I always, do things to get a reaction out of her, and it's so fun seeing her. She just, lights up my whole face. It's the best part of my day. All right, big dog. Yeah, but that's the thing, man. Life has been, life keeps going. Hey, no complaints, no complaints, because it keeps getting better and everything, like I got plans, I still got things, I still got a laundry list. I got that what is it, that bucket list. I done knocked a lot of stuff off of it. But it's still I got so much stuff more on there, and I don't plan to get it all done in my lifetime, but I just want to do as much as I can. And that's what it's about, living life. You gotta, you gotta get up, get out and get some. Don't let your days of your life pass by. You gotta get up, get out and get some. You can't spend all your time trying to get high. Nah, life has ups and downs, goods and bads, ins and outs, and you got to take the good with the bad. You got to just keep it going, keep moving forward, and just watch how it gets better. Especially if you working on it, if you're putting in work towards it. Because now I'm thinking, because the one thing I heard was like, if you put in as much work as you did on your job, on your life, because it's crazy because I work 10-hour days. And that's a long day, to be out. I get up, and go get it. And I take my work serious. When I go to work, it's not playtime. It's time to go to work. It's time to get this money because that's the thing. They're paying me to be here to do whatever job that I'm doing that day. And the company is paying me for that. And I need, it was crazy because when I first started, one of the big dog, it was like a Monday safety meeting, and he was like, if you're here just to get a check, then you can hit the door. And then I was like, oh shit. So afterwards, I'm like, hey, big dog, I'm here to get a check. He's like, nah, that wasn't what I was talking about. I'm saying if that's all you're here for, because if you're not here for the group and not here for the team, and you're just here to get a check, then you can leave because we need people who are going to be here for the team, who are going to do the work to help the team to move forward. That's what we need. And I was like shocked because I didn't understand. I was like, whoa, okay, you know. But as time went on, like the big dog, he was a mentor and he knew my whole situation. He knew I just got out of prison after doing over 12 years straight. He knew, that I was I was involved with a lot of stuff. And he knew I was in a drug program and I was trying to do something different. And he saw that, I was going through some stuff and he was there. He didn't give me a hand out, but he gave me a hand up. And he's the one who taught me, the HP Spirit. That's the company I work for, is HP Communications. The HP Spirit is the best thing, I'm grateful, thankful to be a part of it, because when the brotherhood is going, we can do anything. I've been on a job and I'll never forget this, because I was a part of the job and we prepared and got everything lined up and lined out and investigated. And in 3 days, everybody from the company came in from all over the country, and we put in 16 miles of fiber optic cable across Camp Pendleton. 16 miles of fiber optic cable in 3 days. That's it, 3 days. I'm talking about everybody came in, everybody knew what they needed to do. Some people had to go put in interduct, that's the tube in the ground that we're going to put the fiber optic cable into. There's manholes, section. We had to go find all the manholes, prep everything, get everything ready so that everybody could come in and do everything so fast. And that was like a record. I was a part of that project. That wasn't the biggest project that I've been on, but that was the biggest project that I was a major part of because me and two other people went and did all the prep work for 2 weeks. And then 3 days, everybody came together and we put in 16 miles of fiber optic cable in 3 days. That's a lot. You know what I mean? I don't care who it is. But back in the day, I was on a blowing crew and we had the record. We had the record for blowing fiber optic cable through the pipes, because we put in two reels, two big giant spools. I'm talking about 6 foot high spools of fiber optic cable, and we put two of those in the ground, and that's 40,000 feet. And that was the record at the time. Back then I know that's been broke. That was a long time ago. But that's the thing. The company I work for, we get stuff moving. It's a can't stop, won't stop thing. And the company does a lot, and it's crazy. All that I've learned with this company, I'm more than thankful. Because they've made me an asset. They've made me an asset because I do some vital work to help the company. Make a little bit of money. That's the goal, right? But the company goes above and beyond. They do all kinds of stuff for us. I know the Christmas parties are off the chain. Look, you go look, tell me. Look at some of my pictures. Just think about this. I got pictures in a black pinstripe suit. That's the first suit I ever bought. I never had a suit in my life. And then, at this company, they was like, "Are you going to the Christmas party?" I'm like, "Yeah, well, what do I wear?" It was like, "Just wear a suit." I'm like, I ain't never had a suit in my life. So, the first Christmas party, I just got some slacks, some nice, dress shoes, and, a nice sweater. And it was cool. Wasn't nobody tripping. You didn't have to, wear a suit or nothing like that. But the owners of the company, the VPs and the big bosses, they was all suited and booted. I'm talking about crispy. You know what I mean? So it was like, okay, my next year, that was when I got my first suit. That was 2007. And what was crazy is last year I wore that suit to the Christmas party. And that was the suit that I bought in 2007. I fit into it again. Huh? Yeah. That was 2007, almost 20 years ago. And I fit into that suit. Hmm. Yeah, boy. Oh, almost back to my fighting weight. Watch out. Nah, but feeling a little bit better and losing some weight. And, feeling a little bit better. Life keeps going. I eat better. It's not just I'm not doing anything, but no, I stopped eating all the processed food. I stopped eating all the stuff that has poisons in it and has what is the things that make it last longer. Oh man. But that's the thing, all the stuff we put in to make our food last longer is what's destroying our body, giving us diseases that we got to pay millions of dollars to get medicine for. I don't want to go through that, you know what I mean? So I'm going to do everything I can to try and, avoid this. But they're putting they what is it, the 3D printer meat, the the Bill Gates meat. It ain't even real meat. It's like amino acids and some other stuff put into a 3D printer, and they make some steaks and they sell them to you. They're in Walmart. You can go get them right now. That's crazy. I'm scared of all of that. If I didn't see the cow die, then I don't want. I'm not eating. I'm not eating no beef. I stopped eating beef. Period. You know what I mean? But one day, I'm saying, I'm gonna be in a situation, because I know some people. I got connections now. Yeah, I'm saying, I got some people, I'm saying, that have farms that are growing their own, I'm saying. So when it's time, when I need something, I can go get real meat. I don't want that 3D printer meat, and I don't want the human meat that they got in the McDonald's burgers. I'm scared of all this stuff, you know what I mean? So basically, I'm saying, I'm just trying to. Now, I don't know what I'm going to do. I told you I'm ready to find me a piece of dirt, you know what I'm saying, and go live off the grid. Yeah, one of these days, if I disappear, you know what I'm saying, Snow done did it. Snow done did it. He done jumped off the grid. I'm trying to get out of the rat race. This is not the race I want to be in. Man, Ice Cube told me you can't win, can't get even, and you can't get out the game. So what we gonna do? I don't know. I know what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna keep on pushing. I'm gonna keep on moving forward, and I'm gonna protect my family with everything I got. That's my job. So, I don't know. This where we going? What's gonna happen? How's it gonna happen? Not sure. But the New World Order looks like it's here. It looks like it's gonna get worse before it gets better. But that's okay. Because everything has a purpose, and what I'm saying, whatever that is, what I'm saying, I'll deal with whatever comes my way. And that's all you can do in life sometimes. People worrying about, I'm saying, possible this and possible that. I can't worry about none of that. I'm focused on what's going on right now. And right now, I'm saying, I can't control everything, but what I can control, I'm going to focus on. I'm going to take care of, and I'm going to do my part. We just need everybody else to do their part. So, can you do your part? I'm going to do my part. Let's just focus on that. And that's the thing, I'm saying, I'm not here to be, why you didn't do your part? Why you didn't do your part? Nah, that's not what it's about. Because no one needs to know, I'm saying? It's up to you, I'm saying? But how do you live with yourself when you don't do what you need to do? I don't know. I like taking care of my responsibilities. Make me feel good, you know what I mean? I did something. I did that. Okay, you know what I'm saying? Anybody got any questions? Gonna be calling it a night. Going once. Twice? Anything? Just buy it from the ranchers. They are always selling meat and it's good. Oh yeah, you know what I'm saying? I found, like I said, I got a couple, you know what I'm saying, ranchers, you know what I'm saying, that that's my hookup. But that's the thing, I try not to eat meat because I don't believe that we're supposed to eat meat. I don't believe we're supposed to eat it at all. So, you can look at our teeth and tell that we're not carnivores. So, But you can say what you want. If that's what you want to do, that's, I'm saying, that's fine, Dandy. Do what you like. You know what I mean? I'm just, I'm saying, speaking on self because I choose not to. Because like I said, I don't believe, I'm saying, that we were made for that. I don't believe our systems are supposed to be, I'm saying, absorbing that. We're like herbivores. Yeah. But that's the thing. You think about it, some of the biggest animals on the planet, herbivores. Yeah, So yeah, I mean, I just gotta, you know what I'm saying, grow some more. But I'll give y'all some info, you know what I'm saying, to show y'all some once I get something growing. I ain't nothing popped up yet. But no, we just started. This is, you know what I'm saying, this is gonna be a lifestyle. We gotta eat, so we gotta live to eat. And now I eat to live. I don't live to eat. So, you know what I'm saying, you gotta do things a little bit different. Okay, everybody, I'm tapping out on this one. I'll see y'all next week, Friday night at 9 o'clock. Thanks for tapping in with me. Thanks for everybody that stopped by.